morning. My name is Sel Mpang, and today I am going to cook some traditional Montagnard breakfast and also things that I've picked up from my family and learned throughout the years as well. I'm here today at the Creative Aging Network here in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I'm so excited to share this recipe with you, and hopefully you get to take it on as well and make it your own. I have our ingredients today: eggs. I brought. We're going to make at least 2 to 3 servings today, just to demonstrate, and have about 12 eggs, ripe tomato, cilantro, and onions. You can use any form of onions that you have available at your home. This is just a sweet white onion, but you can use any variety that you'd like. And here with me, I have soy sauce for later. We'll top off over rice. I have ground white pepper, sea salt, and this is chicken bouillon powder seasoning, and the vegetable oil. And that's all that we'll need today for our demo. And I also have pre-cooked jasmine rice for this dish as well. So I hope that you enjoy watching this demonstration, and we'll get started. So first, I like to prep my materials. I have a nice ripe tomato. I always cut from the top right here and cut it in half. And then you'll also make sure you also take the sticker off first, and don't do what I just did there. So always take the sticker off and cut it in half. And you'll see that there is this like really tough area right here where the vine was growing from. So you'll make like a V-cut shape just to cut it out. Be very careful. Yeah. There you go. You take it out just like that. And you'll do that to your other tomato as well, because you don't want to have that in your eggs. So this dish that I'm making derived from a creative time in my family kitchen. My family always cooked, and my siblings always cooked for me. And this was something that they made for me every single morning, or most mornings. Just tomatoes, cilantro, and it was just really fresh. Something really nice to have in the morning. So you just want to cut your tomatoes as so, smaller pieces. I honestly say, whatever size, whatever piece, whatever shape you want your tomato to be, it's just fine. But I like to make it flat like this, or at least somewhat flat, so it's sits nice on the pan with the eggs. I didn't really know what to call this dish. I called it pancake eggs. It's not really an omelet. You don't really fold it over like an omelet, but it's like this nice little pancake where it's flat and you get to see all the ingredients on the eggs. And it's almost like a pizza. I guess you can call it a pizza now. I don't have a formal name for it, but there's your tomato. And then you'll take a few bunches of cilantro. Just pull it like this. And you can always use the stem for soups and stews when you're making broth. So I'd recommend to always keep that, because you never know when you need it. And take a little bit like this. And you just want to coarsely chop it. So it doesn't have to be like a perfect chop, just gently like that. Okay. These big pieces, and it's okay to keep the stems. I think that also creates texture and it creates a lot of shape. And put your cilantro to the side. That. Clean up your knife. That's probably not the best way to clean it. And now we have our onions. I always like to separate my ingredients. Eggs were also really abundant in my house because it was really accessible and really inexpensive. So it was always a good breakfast to have in the morning, or just a snack late at night. So we always made this, and I really wanted to share this recipe. That way you can have a new lens of cooking and a new experience to make your eggs in the morning. And then you'll see that there's that tough little piece right there where the root is growing from. You'll just take that out, throw it away. And it depends on how much onions you'd want. I don't think I want too much, so I'll just take half of this and put this onto the side. And you want to rest it this way. That way, when you do cut it, it comes out really nice and flat and as thin as possible, as thin as you can. No worries if it's not like paper thin. No need to stress, but just as thin like that, where it's almost transparent. And then once you get to that part and you feel like it's falling over, let your onion fall. That way it's safer to cut. Now it has a flatter surface. Just like that. And I'm just cutting just enough onions so I can kind of decide how much onions I want with my omelet. Okay. And then you'll get a nice bowl to size. Big, a nice big bowl is nice to mix with. And for 3 people or 2, or in my case, sometimes I just make this entire thing for myself. I'll just crack at least 3 to 4 eggs. Make 4. I'm gonna make this morning actually. And then to your eggs, you will add some salt. So just a little bit of salt, just about that much. I would say a teaspoon. And then now I have pepper mixed with my salt. So I'll just add a little bit of pepper to there. I love brown pepper because my dad always cooks with brown pepper and it's his favorite, so it became my favorite. Then just add a little bit more salt. So I would say about a teaspoon of salt and pepper, and then a little bit of this chicken powder flavor. They also make versions that are made out of vegetables as well, so it gives that like really umami flavors to your eggs that you really want. And out of habit, I always mix my eggs with chopsticks, just because I feel like they work just as good as a whisk. So I always take a yolk at a time and mix that yolk. And then I mix another piece of yolk and then combine them all together, get them all mingled. And then just want to take your time and mix it. You also want to be gentle and not over mix. You can use a whisk or a fork. I've always used a chopstick. And just swirl it around, mix it in. Once you feel like it's nice and combined and the yellow starts to spread out in a bowl like that, you'll start to add your onions. I think I'm gonna add just a few to mine, just like that. I know I cut quite a lot compared to what I'm putting in, but that's a preference, whatever you like. And then I'll add a few drops of cilantro. I do love cilantro, so I usually add more than this. And then a few tomatoes. And if you're making for more people, a larger serving size, save this for later and like save it as you go. I do like to add 1 more tomato. As you can see, I'm just adding as I go. I'm going, you know what? I should want more of this. And I think that's the best part about cooking. It's a creative outlet as well, just as much as it is making art like painting or sculpture. You can add as you go. There's really no rules. It's really just what tastes good to you and what you like. And that is it for our mix. And we're going to take it over to the pan. We made a little bit of a mess, but that's fine. We'll take it over to the pan and we'll fry it into a nice pancake, almost like a pizza at the end. But we'll go over here and get it fried up. Set your stove to make the egg pancake that I call. We'll set it to a medium high, so nothing too high, but nothing too low, because you want it to be nice and crispy as well. We'll have about two tablespoons of vegetable oil. It's neutral and also it picks up great flavor as well. And that's about 2 tablespoons. And you'll swirl it around, that way you can evenly coat the pan. You don't want it to stick to any sides. Make sure that you're swirling your oil around in the pan as so, to make sure it's evenly coated. As you're doing that, your pan is also over the stove, so your oil is also getting nice and hot. So make sure you're continuously mix it, because what happens with oil too is sometimes it will like break apart. And so when it's all nice and evenly distributed out, because you can see how it's like breaking apart there, you're just gonna want to mix it again so it's evenly coated. And once that happens, you're gonna test your oil to see if it's nice and hot, and you'll do that by dropping a few eggs. That will just give it a few more seconds, because you want it to bubble and get really like crispy, even if you drop a little bit. So we'll just let the oil heat up in the pan, and as that's happening, we'll just swirl our oil. It's always good to keep something in the pan, that way you can see that the oil is ready. And it's not quite ready yet, because you'll know it's ready when it starts to bubble up around the little pieces of egg right there. So we'll just give it a minute to warm up. Oh, you hear that crackle? That's perfect. My parents are, when I was growing up, they were very particular about the oil heating up at a perfect temperature, because you want to make sure that once something, the garlic, onion, or in this case, this egg mixture hits the pan, it gets really nice and crispy. And there you go. I put it in a little bit too early, but you can still hear that nice crackle in the oil. And I think that allows me to also move the ingredients around a little bit. So I'm going to rush there. And see how it looks almost like a pizza? So I guess we can call it a egg pizza now. Yeah, so when it's get nice and crispy and all the way cooked. And I think I'll turn the heat on a little bit more. So there you go. And you'll see it crackling on the sides. And I know that when it's like slowly cooking on the sides, that it's getting cooked. So what I do is I tuck, what my parents taught me is that you tuck the eggs in and it folds it in. That way when you cook it, it doesn't burn the bottom of the egg. And you cook the egg quicker as well. That. It's one of the things you pick up when when you cook. Especially cooking with my parents. They're really innovative and creative in the kitchen. So I always learn so much from them. That way it cooks a lot faster. Hold it out. And as you're opening up the egg from the side gently, and you're pouring in the egg mixture, it cooks from the inside as well. That way it's kind of rotating the egg and it's not overcooking at the bottom as well, because I almost think about it as the waves in the ocean, where it kind of circulates and moves. And that's how I see this dish. And I see some egg mixture from the top. So I try to tilt my pan in there as much as possible so it can go in there and cook. And see how it like seals all the way through and it all connects at the end. And add more pepper to this. I feel like use a little bit more color. Pepper. And we'll just lower the heat. That way it can slowly cook, but not overcook the eggs. We don't want it to be rubbery. We want the eggs to be really nice and soft when we get it. Sometimes, depending on who's cooking for me or like whatever family member is making this egg recipe, sometimes I would flip it over and get it really crispy on the side too. But I don't know if I have that technique down just yet. But you can if you want to. Let it steam, and I like to do this so I know I can check the bottom so it's not burning. I like to poke a little hole, that way it can like go through there.
And eventually, like the steam will also cook the top of the eggs as well. So you have a crispy bottom of the egg, but then you'll also have it really nice and creamy up top, so it's not overcooked. I'm Montagnard, and I am from Vietnam, but the group that I am with is indigenous to the country. We live in the Central Highlands. We're called the Montagnard people. That was a name that was formally given to us by the French. And there is a really Greensboro actually welcomed the largest amount of Montagnard refugees, about 3,000 in 2002 and the 80s. And so I was a part of the group that came here in the 2000s. So my family, when we cooked, it was just a blend of a lot of things. A lot of our traditional meals mixed with Vietnamese cuisines, mixed with American dishes as well. So it's just a blend of a lot of things. So when I cook, it really is just a collection of all the things that I've learned from my parents over the years. So it's really I can't really pinpoint one thing when I cook it. This is a variety. So at this time, you'll see that the steam is slowly cooking the top, and that's a perfect time to take it out of the pan and see how it's not sticking. You pour it, and so just like that. And there is your first dish. And you can serve this over steamed rice if you'd like. I like it with steamed rice and top it off with some soy sauce. So this is the first egg dish that I'm really excited to share with you all. Hopefully you can see it. It almost looks like a pizza, right? It's like a morning pizza, but without the dough and eggs. Hope you enjoy. This egg dish that I have, a breakfast dish, is called dubla. I think I'm remembering the name correctly, but my dad used to make this for me when I was really young. He hasn't made it for me in a while now that I think about it, because I guess I've been making it so often. But it's very simple. All you need is a nice nonstick pan, a vegetable oil, and you'll crack the oil on to the pan. You'll crack the eggs onto the oil, and then you'll slowly fold that over the yolk. And I'll show you how to make it. It's very simple, very easy to make, and you'll set your temperature of your stove to medium high. You'll pour in some oil, about 2 tablespoons there to coat your oil, to coat your pan evenly, like that. And another dish earlier, and I'm just going to use the same pan because I'm cooking something similar. So I'll just crack an egg over the pan, like so. You'll want that nice crack. And then there's not a lot of room. I'm not going to add another egg. I let this cook on its own. I'm going to reduce the heat a little bit here. I'm going to season the eggs with salt and pepper. And a little bit of the chicken powder seasoning. It's nice and flavored. You want a good layer of flavor to it. And then what you'll do is I'll put it over to the side so it doesn't overcook the egg yolk. But I'm going to slowly and gently fold the egg white over the yolk like that. Yeah, this may take some practice if it's your first time making this, but always gives new things a try, right? So just fold it over like that. It almost like creates like a little envelope through the yolk. This way it doesn't, your yolk when it's on the rice, have that nice creamy egg yolk on your rice. I think the term for it is jamming. You want your egg yolk to be jamming. That really nice cream. And yeah, so you can either, if I had enough egg white, I would have flipped one over here and flipped it onto the other side. But I think I'll just use this one as is. And I'm just going to sprinkle just a little bit more salt and pepper on the outside. Like that. Let it get really nice and crispy. Yeah, so the best thing about this dish is that it's really, the egg whites get really nice and crunchy. And you can see the gold the lines right there, and when you bite into it, it's going to be really nice and crispy. And then the egg yolk is going to be really nice and creamy. Crispy. And this is when I'll give it like another 10 seconds. I would like to check the bottom to see if it's like, oh, yes, it's nice crisp. Yeah, you don't want to overburn it. So you first take it off the pan. See if I can take off the pan. All right, and start plate. And we'll have a second one as well. And so we'll just wait for our egg whites to get nice and crispy. That way we can fold it over our yolk. I'll show you what the other one looks like while that's cooking. This is what it looks like. Yeah. So it's really crispy on the top and it's super creamy on the bottom. I mean in the center because the egg is there, and it's very simple. And it's like a new version of sunny side up eggs, but nicely tucked in a little envelope. At least that's how I describe it. And let it cook some more. You want to make sure that your egg yolk is fully cooked. Not egg yolk, but egg white. Make sure your egg white is fully cooked. That way, it would be strong enough to be pulled over onto your yolk. And at this time, you can season with your salt and pepper. Mixture already made. And then a little bit of the chicken powder or vegetable powder seasoning to add that umami taste. And then we will just now flip over the egg white. I'll move it over to the other side of the pan. And then you move it over off the stove to heat. That way the oil's not bursting on you. And I'll need another item. I'll just fold it over like that. Add it in that way it sticks. Egg white almost sticks to it like glue. So as you're forming it, hold it for a few minutes, and it all cooks together, and it seals together as well. It's amazing how it does that. Now your egg yolk is nicely tucked in. Sprinkle some maybe. We have both of our eggs now, nicely seasoned. And as you can see, the egg yolk is peeking just right outside the envelope. And sometimes my dad, the way he makes it so perfectly where it like covers the egg yolk completely. But this is fine too. I think it looks really cute this way too. But it's very simple. And what I like to do is I would like to top it off over white rice and soy sauce. And that's my breakfast. And it's very simple. And it's a very creative way to make eggs. And those are the two dishes today. I hope you enjoy this and top it off with some white rice and even sriracha. Sometimes it's just really good with sriracha, and just do that and plate it really nice and beautifully. Yum. And top it off with soy sauce over your rice, and you have a nice hearty breakfast. And I hope that you enjoy this as you're making something new in the morning. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you try this out, and I hope that you find something new to make every morning or every day, or just thinking of something different to make. That way, you know, it's the best way to start your day or to end your day is to try something new and to open yourself up to something new. And new flavors are always, I feel like, it adds a lot to life. And so I love to cook, and I hope that you also find a love to cook as well. And like I say, like most people say, anyone can cook. And truly, I believe in that. I hope you give this a try. I hope you give this the experience of cooking a try. All right. Thank you so much. Bye.